UGD coming at you with my new Taurus 709 Slim. And fellas, I don't like to just have an ordinary firearm. I like to brand it a little bit and show it off and maybe put some enamel in there. And of course, there's a lot of guys that do enamel on the YouTube. But I want to take a couple minutes and kind of show you how I go about it, which might be a little bit different. There are some very specific tools that are involved, and I want to make sure you have the right tools. Now, the disclaimer right up front is this will probably ruin your firearm and it will never function again. Best case scenario is it will shoot to the left after you do this. Now, we got to take the gun apart, and that's key, and we want to be safe there, guys. Let's be safe, okay? So the Taurus, I'm still learning how to get this thing apart. There we go. We got the slide. I'm just going to disassemble this all together. Picked this up on trade not too long ago, and still haven't cleaned it. And the reason I haven't cleaned it is because I wanted it to be as fresh. I wanted the metal to be as fresh as possible without any oil on it. And the areas that I'm going to hit is the 709 Slim 9mm. I'm digging that quite a bit. And maybe just the Taurus logo. I'm not going to do the made in Brazil. I'm going to try to avoid that altogether. Now, it may be a monkey in a football. We're going to give it a go. And the other thing I'm going to do is they've gone ahead and put a little bit of red in there. I'm not a fan of red on my rear side. I'm going to go ahead and put the green in there. And then probably get that filled in a little bit more, make that a little bit more prominent on the front side with some white. So that is the goal for today. And I'm sure I will mess this up and turn it into a piece of garbage. But yeah, it is my firearm. I'm going to do what I want to do to it. Let's check the barrel out. It's just got a serial number on it, so probably just going to leave that alone. Now, the tools that I use, being a used gun dude means I'm a broke dude. I don't do the new gun videos like the guys that are sponsored or have a lot of money. So I go to the Dollar General and I find cheap nail polish. That's right, just cheap nail polish. I think these are $1 a shot. That's Broadway Nails. It is a high shine nail polish. My wife won't even use this, so that's the nice part about it. Oh, this one right here is Wet n Wild. That's going to be for the rear sights, fellas. Yeah, that's nice. And then the other thing that you're going to need from the old Dollar General is nail polish remover, and the key to this is non-acetone. That's right, non-acetone. You get the acetone stuff, and it's going to ruin your finish. This is probably going to ruin your finish anyway, but that's how I roll. So the other tools that you're going to need are Q-tips and some toothpicks. And then I take a file folder and I cut little pieces out of there. And these are my little squeegees that I'm going to use. Now, it's also a necessity to have paper towels. So let me get one ripped off here. And today we are using a autumn pattern. Autumn pattern. I don't know if that's important, but that's what I've got available. If you can find a Christmas pattern during Christmas, that's probably the one to go with. I'm just going to fold that in half. So let's get a cracking on here. The first thing I want to do is decide on the color. I am going to go with a gray. That's why we have a black and a white sitting down here. And I've got my little, what do they call that? The mortar board or whatever the artists call it. We're going to go a little Bob Ross on here. And the white is your first one. Probably need to give that a little bit of a shake because I see my wife do that before she does her nails, so it seems important. And just going to put a whole bunch out in there. Again, you're talking about $1 investment here, fellas, so yeah, really not that expensive. Really not that expensive. So, yeah, that's a generous amount right there. Whew, boy, I might have overdone it. The smell is going to kill you because you know exactly what I'm talking about if you're married. And then on the black, you really don't need much in the black. Whoa, got some flakes in there. That's not good. Gonna have to get those out of there. All right, just a couple drops of black because I'm shooting for a gray. Shooting for a gray. I don't want it to be crazy white. See, a lot of guys do the white, and yeah, I've done a few in the white in the past, but yeah, just never really dug it after I got done with it. So we're going to go with a little bit of a gray here. Yeah, there we go. That's solid. That is solid. And I wish I had a little bit of music to go with this because this is going to be boring. So there's going to probably be some edit at this point before I get the gray. Now, I made a lot of this because you want to be able to match the colors, and we may be hitting this a couple, 3 times. So you got to have an ample amount that is the same color, so you're not trying to match the color later. Now, what I do is, toothpick. That's the whole show right there is a toothpick, and this is my brush. Now, guys, Again, disclaimer, this will ruin your firearm. And I just kind of take it and I just kind of rub it over. And what I'm trying to do is like a squeegee, push it in there. Get it in there, trying to avoid that serial number. And there you go. That is it. And I'm going to give that a couple of seconds to dry. Once it's against the firearm, it tries to dry rather quickly. Now, this is where the squeegee comes in. Now, I don't know if there is a proper squeegee or not, but this is what I use. I've given it a couple of seconds to set up, and I'm not trying to remove all of it. I'm not trying to get it completely clean at this point. I'm just trying to get the excess off there. Just trying to get the excess off. And then you want to take a quick look at it. Let's make sure you've got a good fill on that. And I'm feeling pretty good about that fill. Yep, that's a good fill. All right, we're going to go to the other side. Now, this is the one that might get a little bit complicated. Now, I've got to keep this elevated. Typically, I'll let that rest for a minute and let it dry, but, video is video. And, again, I don't want to do the Brazil. I just want to get the Taurus logo. That's what I'm shooting for here. And once it's in there, it is tough to get out. I don't know if I told you guys, this is going to ruin your firearm. So the disclaimer is back out there. This is my best boss, Bob Ross. Does anybody remember Bob Ross? If you have not seen a Bob Ross show, you've got to check it out. And that cat gave every one of those paintings away he did on PBS to charity, to help other people. What a great guy. I am not that guy. There we go, a little squeegee action. And we'll check the fill on that and see how we're looking there. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, pretty happy with that. That's a good fill. Excellent fill. All right, so then now we're moving on, and we're going to let that dry for a little bit, guys. That's the key to what I learned, is that you got to give it time to dry a little bit, and that's when the non-acetone nail polish remover comes in to get all that excess garbage off of there. So let's go to the sights. It is easier to do the front sight first. Again, we're going to move our palette here and bring in a new one because we do not want gray there. Real simple. This doesn't take much at all. We're going to just put a little bit dab there, and there we go. Making a little bit of a mess. Let's set that aside. And what I do on that is I'm getting a Q-tip just loaded, I'm getting a toothpick just loaded up with goodness. With white goodness. And I'm going to tip that slide up. And I'm just going to put it right in the middle there and let it sit for a second. And kind of rock it around a little bit. And watch it fill in. Yeah, just take your time there. Just a happy fill. Yeah, happy fill. All right. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I see I got a little bit of excess right there. And let's see if I can push it down a little bit. Yeah, it's just a bad cut on the hole. So I'm going to have to live with that probably. But yeah, happy with that fill. Now we're going to do the other side. We're going to do the rear sights. And again, I'm going to need a new palette. Let's see if I can find one here. Well, that's an old one there. I'm not going to use that. That's pretty nasty. This ought to work right here. And this is where the green. Now this is Wet and Wild. And Wet and Wild, if you'll note, it's got a little bit of glitter in there. Yeah, that's some fine glitter. And so you got to give that a little bit of shake. You want that glitter evenly distributed on your rear sight. You don't want to mess up your sight picture because you've got too much glitter on the left side. So give that a little bit of a shake. Again, you don't need much of this stuff at all. And, oh yeah, I'm going to pull that up to the camera because I want you to see the glitter sheeniness of that. Look at that. Isn't that nice? So another toothpick. I'm going to go through the toothpicks when you do this, guys. It's a heck of an investment. And you got to get the tip of it loaded. And very carefully, boy, this is tough to do with a microphone in front of you and a camera thing. And again, you're just going to kind of spin it and fill. Yeah, pretty decent first fill. Get back in there. Oh, I messed up. I went a little high. You can see I just went a little high, but that's all correctable because we are going to go in and fix that. And I'm noticing that some of the red is coming off, so I probably should have gone in there and tried to clean that beforehand. Apparently the previous owner used a crayon from his kids' school supplies to do that. Well, there you go. Now that right there is a little bit heavy on either side. You can see a little bit of that. Let's see if we can get a little bit of that off of there so it's a little less work later on. There we go. Yeah, that's going to work. I'm not trying to create something that comes out of the Colt custom shop. I'm just trying to do something that makes my firearm a little bit different, stand out a little bit. All right, so now we go to the acetone. And guys, you got to be the non-acetone, excuse me. Now this is where you got to be a little bit careful. A lot of times I'll just test this on a spot to make sure I'm not going to eat through the bluing on it. And this is going to take quite a few Q-tips. Load that Q-tip up, get it good and moist. Have your paper towel ready, and let's tip it over and give this a little bit of a rub, just a light rub. Not putting too much pressure on it. Just a light rub. There we go. Yeah. Happy gun. Happy gun. And then the dry side, just go ahead and try to get some of that excess off of there. And if you're familiar with nail polish remover, it dries pretty quickly. And you can see we picked up a little bit, so that one's shot. And not going to be good for the next side. But yeah, pretty happy with that. Let's go ahead and hit the other side. Load that baby up. And again, light pressure. Just go over it a few times. And if you rub too hard, it's actually going to start pulling it out of the grooves. It's pulling it out of the grooves, and that's not what we're shooting for here. And the bigger the grooves, the tougher it is to do this. This one's being a little bit more obnoxious. And maybe I didn't get enough on there. Yeah, see how quickly that's drying? That means I'm a little bit light on my nail polish remover. Non-acetone, of course. There we go. That's a little better. And again, I'm not putting much pressure. I'm just trying to pick up the excess. Yeah, that's looking pretty solid. Let's go to the other side here and take a look at where we were at over here. Now you can see there's a little bit of gray still in there. So yeah, you're going to have to hit it a couple times. Now, my wife loves doing her nails, and I think every fella out there hates the smell of this stuff. It's something you've got to put up with. And what's humorous is anytime I do this, she comments how bad it smells. Now, when she's putting on fingernail polish, it smells just fine. But as soon as I slap it on a firearm, oh man, does that stink. We'll go back over here. And that little bit of a matting, that matte finish that they use, a lot of times really doesn't want to cooperate. And you got to really get after around it. And that's where I'm going to put a little more pressure, not where the grooves are, mind you, but just kind of around there. Try to get that done there. So this is UGD, bringing you a little bit of enamel work that I've done. I'll show some close-ups of this thing after I get it finished up, but there's the gist of it, fellas. And yeah, I think adds a little bit of character on it. It's not over the top with the brightness of the white, but something that makes me happy and something I enjoy doing. So if you like the video, hit the like button. If you think the nail polish fumes have gotten to my head, hit the dislike. And check out my other videos. Please subscribe. I need subscribers. My son is killing me.